Hello, listeners. Thanks for coming back to Blerd on the Street. If you like what you hear, we love a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcatcher you use. The reviews help with our discoverability and also keep us in touch with the content you like. Today's episode is all about TTRPGs. That's tabletop role-playing games. The ones that got us interested, the ones we like, and of course, the ones on our want to play wish lists. Mentioned games will be in the show notes. And no, we're not receiving any compensation for this episode, but we're always happy to get others excited about our faves. Happy listening! Hi, I'm Lily, and I run on flat whites and raspberry scones. You can find me on Twitter at AliseOnLife. That's ALISEONLIFE.
Hi, I'm Jillian. A matcha latte and my Nintendo Switch are never far from my reach. You can find me at jillian.corinne on Instagram.
Hi, my name is Jenna, and I think coffee, books, and makeup are life. You can follow me on Instagram at PhillyGirlJL or on TikTok at PhillyGirlJLH.
TTRPG you really like to play?
Mm-hmm.
And what is one that you haven't played yet, but you would really like to try? Jillian, since I think you said you already have something in mind.
I do. Okay, so fave TTRPG is Blades in the Dark. Have you guys heard of Blades? A friend of mine, we graduated college together. She runs a few games, and she invited me to this one, and play a game and interact with people. So that has a special place in my heart right now. But we're actually we started playing the partner game to that, which is Scum and Villainy, which is like Blades in the Dark but in space. But I actually really want to play Good Society, the Jane Austen TTRPG.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm like really into, historical books, not necessarily romance. Like I'll read mysteries, wanting to be in that like society with like the manners, and I don't know. I just think it would be fun, but I haven't played it yet. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So my favorite is actually Good Society.
Oh.
Yeah. I really we actually had a game going that we never got to finish because of people's schedules, and Good Society and like D&D, those are kind of the only ones that I've really played.
Mm-hmm.
I did do like a Twitch stream for a Call of Cthulhu. It is, I felt that it's very hard to kind of learn if you don't know anything about it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But like once someone who knows Call of Cthulhu explains the rules to you, then you're like, oh, this is easy. It's like, oh, okay, well, I got it now. Like, I think it just you definitely need to play with at least one experienced player when you're starting out from scratch.
So I would say the TTRPG that I like playing the most,
Mm-hmm.
and that I would probably call my favorite is Masks, which
Okay.
is a powered by the apocalypse game. It's about superhero teenagers and
Oh.
the confluence of uh, growing into adulthood, managing powers, and kind of living in a world where you are supposedly the new generation. So I really like that.
Yeah.
And I think the game that I want to play is Blades in the Dark. It's a little bit, darker or
Right.
involves more people from the fringe, from the shadows. Like, I like
Mm-hmm.
that idea.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we all
Cool.
have to have some overlap, and we all need to just invite each other to our game.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, this part we recorded on a different occasion where we revisited the idea of RPGs and thought, faves are all good and well, but which RPG actually brought us to the place where we thought, this is pretty cool? Which RPG was it that introduced us all to the community?
This is Jenna, and I would say, in high school, most of my friends played D&D at some point. I was never a player. Lily actually got me interested in it because she was playing in a D&D group at a local comic book store. And she's like, why don't you just come? And I was like, I don't know how to play and anything. And she's like, it doesn't matter. And so I came, and it just was like instant, like, this is something I like to do. And so that was for D&D, and other stuff just followed. I was like, oh, okay, I like these RPGs.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice. All right. So this is Jillian. Um, I started playing D&D. I mean, I played it once with a friend when I was visiting her in New York, and she helped me create a character, and that was really fun. But I don't know, the day of, I was feeling really shy, and was meeting some of her other friends that play. So they did like a little one shot with me, and that was fun. But I didn't really pick it up again. Because I guess I didn't really know where to play or really how to play, but later during the pandemic, the same friend, she asked me if I wanted to play this game called Blades in the Dark with 3 other people. I like playing Blades in the Dark because it kind of gives me like a creative outlet a little bit to kind of like be a different person, and like when I was younger, I used to like write like stories, and like I had a notebook that I carried around, so I was like creating different characters, and sometimes I'd like be in my room like acting out some scenes like to write down. I still kind of do that sometimes.
It's like Little
Yeah.
Women, right?
Yeah, yeah. On the computer is like a little bit more comfortable than like meeting people for the first time. Um, in person. And plus, sometimes you just don't want to be on. We met regularly to play Blades in the Dark and like do the different campaigns, and that's all about like you're doing heists every time. I love heist movies too, so I think that helped. So, yeah.
So I came to RPGs a kind of different way. A lot of people
in the community say that D&D was like their entry into it, but it was not mine. It always seemed very male and very white to me, and so I wasn't interested in that. So the very, very first RPG that I played was Masks, and I loved it. I really, really liked the Powered by the Apocalypse system. It's easy to create characters, and there's a lot of room to be able to make the characters your own. Like when you have powers in Masks, there's space for you to be able to say, but this is what my power looks like when I activate it, and this is what I do. I'll definitely admit that I would not have played D&D if it wasn't for that table at Amalgam that was,
Right.
LGBTQIA plus. It definitely felt like a safe space from the beginning. And it was also that table, those people that encouraged me to try to DM. And I DM'd for that table. And then I've DM'd at PAX Unplugged. I DM'd tables there, which I would have never had the confidence to do that otherwise. But I do really feel that like people with anxiety and other issues like that can find a place at tabletop RPGs where we may not be able to feel that comfortable in public otherwise.
Right.
Yeah, I think that because I also for the first time DM'd at PAX Unplugged, and honestly I wasn't really convinced that I could do it at the time, but Lily kind of was like, let's go, let's do it. Even though I was going to Amalgam with Lily and we were always playing at the same table, I also, it gave me the confidence to be able to go to games at different locations and different days and different times on my own.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything else to add to that.
No, I guess I would add that I also really love the community to show on NBC, the episodes where they played Dungeons and Dragons. And they worked it into the script. It was, I don't know. And then, of course, if anyone watches Stranger Things, they
Right.
open
with
the kids
the
playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I was just
they actually call them. They actually call the monster the Dungeons and Dragons.
The Demogorgon.
Yeah. I just was like, I want this camaraderie.
So I want to bring this up, and this is a TTRPG that I've seen on Kickstarter, but it's called Into the Motherland, and it's Afro-futurist TTRPG.
Okay.
And it looks really awesome. I'm actually just going to read the synopsis really quickly from Kickstarter, just so that, but it's 1,000 years ago, African Emperor Mansa Musa sent an expedition to the New World, and it never arrived. In the mythos of Into the Motherlands, these explorers were instead transported to a strange new world far, far away. So I love sci-fi. And also I like the idea of it being Afrocentric.
So I will interject in right here and preface this by saying that this is not an ad, and I am not saying this to get paid. But if you, our listeners, have heard of Tanya DePass, she is a gamer, and I believe she's a Twitch affiliate at this point. But she is a cast member on Into the Motherlands actual play that they are doing via her Twitch channel, I believe right now, Cipher of Tear.
Okay.
So if you wanted to check that out, they've already wrapped season 1, and it should be in VODs if you wanted to check it out. But it's a great group.
So I don't have Twitch.
Okay.
I was planning on getting it after. I don't know why. I just don't download it right this second. But I got myself a Nintendo Switch recently for myself for my birthday. I wanted to get one last year, but they were all sold out. And then I finally revisited it because I did my taxes and I got a little return. So I thought, oh, I'll get it with this. But I don't know why I think I have to like do things after I do like another certain thing. Let me just download Twitch right now because watch this. don't try to make me explain my own crazy. Oh, okay. Tanya DePass has her own YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, subscribing at this very moment. Subscribing live. Okay. This looks great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing.
Thanks for listening to Blerd on the Street.